name is and I'm an instructor at ROC Pilates. I'm going to guide you through a series of exercises today that focus on your glutes, particularly glute max, but then also we're going to focus on a little bit of glute medius as well. So props that you'll need today, would recommend if you have a ball, use it. You can always use a rolled up towel for part of it, but technically you can do all of these exercises without props. All right, we're going to go and get started. So you're going to start laying down onto your back and putting the ball right between your legs. So we're going to get a little bit of inner thigh work there. So just to get started here, before we even start our exercises, we want to make sure we're activating from the right place. So I want you to find your sits bones with your fingertips. Now, if you know where those are, this will probably be really easy for you to just locate, but if you're not familiar with where they are, they're the bones that when you sit in a chair, that's the bones that you feel up against the chair. So a really easy way to find it is to pull your knee into your chest and feel around back here. It should be sticking out extremely easily. It should be very obvious once you feel back there, oh, that's bone right there. So you want to make sure that you know where that is on both of your glutes. So right there, that's where we want to squeeze. So we don't want to think about a full squeeze of the cheeks. We want to think about squeezing right there at that spot. That's going to get the whole back of your leg working. So just practice a couple times. Squeeze around your sits bones and then release. And squeeze around your sits bones and release. Let's go 3 more times. 1 and release. And 2 and release. 1 more time. 3. So it feels kind of sometimes a little subtle, especially if you're not as acquainted with that part of activating, but it's one of those things that's really going to make each of your exercises that you do with your glutes much more posture oriented, and also just a lot more work if you're activating from that spot. So it's one of those things where it kind of feels like a little bit of a easy thing at first, or a hassle to deal with, but really focus on that spot in all of our exercises and you'll get much more out of your workout. Okay, so squeezing from those sits bones, squeezing through the ball, you're going to go and press your heels down into the floor, tuck your pelvis and roll your hips all the way up into a bridge position. So I'm squeezing my glutes up here, pressing my hips up, holding up here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the pelvis, rolling on down, finding neutral. And tuck the pelvis, rolling those hips up all the way. I'm pushing my heels down into the floor, which is pushing the hips up. We're trying to push up through the backs of the legs. Pushing up even a little further, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly rolling yourself back on down. And 4 more times. Pelvis tucks, rolling those hips up, squeezing your glutes. Push those hips up a little bit higher, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly rolling on back down. And tuck the pelvis, rolling back up all the way. Push the hips up a little higher, holding here for 3, 2, 1, tuck, and roll back down. Final 2, rolling those hips up, pressing those hips up even higher. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly back down. Last one, those glutes should be warm. Rolling the hips up from the backs of the legs, pushing those hips up a little higher. We're holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly back on down. Now go ahead and lift your hips back on up into your bridge. I'm going to take my left hip, lift it up and twist it a little bit to the right, back in the center. Right hip is going to lift up a little bit more to twist the hips to the left and center. So it's just little tiny twists and center and glutes working quite a bit here. Twist and center, and 10. Center, and 9. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and tuck. Rolling on back down. Here we go again. One more set. Rolling those hips up. And we have to the right. 10. To the left. 9. And 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And tuck and roll those hips back down. Okay, so now scoot your heels just a wee bit closer towards your sits bones. You're going to go ahead and roll those feet or those hips back on up all the way into your bridge. Now lift your heels up, lower the heels down. Heels lift and lower, and lift and lower. They lift and lower. So the whole time my hips are staying up at the same height. You're fighting to keep those hips lifted while those heels are lowering. Up and down, and up, and down, and 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And roll the pelvis on down. Okay, one more thing up here. Roll those hips back up. You're going to go ahead and lower the hips down a little bit and up, only about 2 inches. And lift up, bend down, and lift, and down, and lift, and down, and lift, and we have 10. 9, 8, make sure you're squeezing your ball. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And tuck the pelvis and roll on down. Very, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and put the ball to the side. You're going to come on down onto your tummy on the mat. So, I'm going to rest my forehead here onto my fingertips so that I leave room for my nose. And I'm going to squeeze my heels together. So I'm in kind of what's a kind of a froggy position. So my heels are attached and my feet are flexed. My knees are out to the sides. Now squeeze your glutes and tuck your pubic bone down into the mat. So we're going to start by squeezing those heels together as much as possible. This is one of those exercises. If you don't put a lot into it, you're not going to get much out of it. The position is easy. It's all about the intention of squeezing those heels together. So if you're squeezing with all your might while you're tucking your pelvis, you're going to feel a lot of glutes, okay? So let's start with, we're laying here, I'm tucking my pelvis using my glutes. I'm going to use all of my might to push my heels in together. And from my heels squeezing, I'm squeezing the backs of my legs, so my hamstrings, and I'm squeezing my glutes. And I'm squeezing, squeezing, squeezing even more. Use your breath. And release. Let's go again. Tucking the pelvis, squeezing the heels together. Squeeze those hamstrings and those glutes. Holding here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's go again. Squeeze the heels together. Tuck your pelvis. Holding here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Squeeze the glutes and the heels. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And heels squeeze. Tuck the pelvis, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release, final one, here we go. Squeeze those heels together, tuck the pelvis, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, release. okay? Now, you're gonna go ahead and squeeze your heels together. This exercise is not gonna be super visible, so you're not gonna get a lot of movement out of it, but it's all about where you're activating from. So I'm squeezing my glutes together as much as I can. I'm going to lift my knees slightly up off the mat. As you can tell, not much has really happened. It's only about maybe 1/4 of an inch of a lift. And then lower back down. Squeezing the glutes. Lifting those knees up off of the mat. Lifting them up a little bit higher. Squeezing the heels together. And lower back down. Let's go 4 more times. Heels squeeze together. Lifting those knees back on up. Lifting them up a little bit higher. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering back down 3 more times. Heels squeeze. Pelvis tucks. Lifting those knees up. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back on down 2 more times. Heels squeeze. Knees lift. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And down. Last one. Heels squeeze. Knees lift. Holding up here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the legs on out. Okay, let's go ahead and come on up onto our hands and knees. So, with this first, make sure you set your posture. Back of the neck is lifted. You're going to go ahead and extend your left leg on back. We're going to do little pulses up here. So my leg is at hip height. I'm going to pulse up and up. So very tiny, we're not going for full-on kicks, okay? Up and up, kick and kick, and we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw circle, and circle, and circle, and circle. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do the right side. Here we go. Right leg up to hip height. We pulse up and up and up and up, up and up. Make sure that right hip is not lifting. That's really hard to manage, but really make sure to keep that hip down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle around and around and around and around and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very, very, very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay down on the side. We're going to do our final exercise here, clamshells. Keeping your feet in together. I like to take my feet back a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and open up my top knee. Slowly close back down. So keep the top hip forward. Rotate open and down and open and down. Open, down. So pushing the feet together and rotating open as much as possible. And let's go 10, down, and 9, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and final 1. And down. Very good. Let's do the other side. You can always just roll over. Okay, so here we go. So you should be feeling lots of deep work up here in the hip. And what we're working here is also glute medius here on the side of the hip. Up and down, and up and down. Open and open. So I'm keeping my feet together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, it gets hard to get all the way up there as you go along. 5, keep opening up as much as you can. 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Very, very good job. Roll onto your back. Pull your legs all the way in, especially stretch your lower back after a lot of glute work, because sometimes the lower back can start to kind of work with it. Circle around and roll yourself back on up. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you back in class when we open up.